Race 2 for the production GTs is a reverse order from the finishing results from race number 1. Brodie Finlay and Simon Allingham make up the front row. Noel Parrish and Jeff Gray start from row number 2. A row 3 start for Stan Moore alongside Matt Edgar. Then we go back to Kevin Varney alongside Logan Childs, the 2 championship protagonists in production GT. Gareth McKenzie and Gary Duncan from row number 5 go back to Scott Ballingall and Matt Dunn. And race 1 winner Chris Dunn starts from the rear of the grid. Waiting for the lights to come on. Allingham off the outside of the front row with the 4-wheel drive monsters, the little 2-wheel drive Honda Civic. Kevin Varney has gone down on the grass with a fabulous start, and so's Logan Child, splitting them down through the middle. But Phil Dark, Chris Dunn is going to be the guy to watch from the back of this grid. Absolutely. It took him a little while to get to the front in the first race yesterday. When he did, he just got away. That's an amazing little Toyota. I said to him, I said, how much of this is the original car? He said, oh, the rear quarter. Yeah, there's not a lot of it that is original now. That's the other car that we're going to watch. That's Matt Dunn. And that's Chris's brother, so whatever the brother can do, he can do. But he got turned around yesterday. There were a couple of penalties assessed after race number 1. Kevin Varney was hit with a time penalty, and so was Stan Moore in the little red Mitsubishi car number 51. He actually copped a couple of hits himself, and then he sought retribution after a shot from Chris Dunn on Matt. I don't know if it was retribution, but it just so happened that way. As Chris Dunn goes down the inside of Kevin Varney, the Total Automotive number 28. Varney comes back up alongside of him though. Chris will be looking up at most of these cars. It's a low little projectile. It's an amazing piece of kit. I had a look at it in the pits after we talked to him after race 1's victory interview, and man, they've really worked on that little car. And Chris has done a whole lot of driving, so he's no way is he a rookie. He's an ex-Oscar champion. He's actually co-drove with John Bowe at Bathurst one year. He's been around a long time, and I said to him, I said, mate, that's got to be the oldest driving suit we've got here for the weekend. Well, they had a very quick little Toyota Corolla with a turbocharged 6 in it that was destroyed last year by Matt Cronin in Timaru. You know, a crash that made the news sort of all over the country. But watch this thing in a straight line. Oh, I tell you what, the little Mitsubishi Evo ahead of him is holding its own. Scott Ballingall, who featured in race number 1. Here comes Dunn now winding up. So I mean, you got a 2-litre 4-wheel drive turbo up against a 1300cc 10,500 RPM turbocharged weapon, absolute little weapon. There's some development yet to come. They can take a lot of weight out of this car. It only weighs 700 kilos, but a lot of the A-arms and everything that much now. So yeah, they're steel. There's not too much that's subtle about them, but it's probably a better thing if they start making contact. Lines up behind Logan Childs, who left Pukekohe as the production GT championship leader. Oh, look at the way Jeff Gray just caught up on the outside as they went through the hairpin there, and that's going to cost them a spot, I think. So Ballingall right there with Dunn. So 6 laps for the second race for the production GTs. Logan Childs in the Bajent Motors, Herb Morgan Mitsubishi Evo. Finished second in the production championship behind Grant Liston last season. Didn't contest the first round at Pukekohe, so he was on the back foot, but certainly gave it to Grant Liston in the second half of the championship. Here comes the charge from Dunn. They worked their way through the left-right, the S as the locals call it here, up into what used to be Cochrane Nissan, and down the short chute they come. Oh, just getting a little bit wide there was Dunn. That's not an easy pass to make down there either. That's similar in a way to Pothole. You don't typically see an awful lot of passing going there, so I think that's the local experience for Chris Dunn, being based down here, getting by Logan Childs, who may just have left the door open a little bit. Now you're going to see something, because this little car's got a little bit of open spaces now, so he can choose his lines rather than have his lines dictated to him. And look at him, he's on the stalk. Is Chris Dunn. Who started from the back. Gary Duncan is now the race leader. His last lap was a 34.7 versus a 34.1 for Chris Dunn. And those two are the fastest drivers on track currently. Oh, the flash of flame out the exhaust. Well, we've been talking about Chris. I just want to mention his brother for a while. It looks like he might be struggling just a little bit with pace, although now he's just put in a 1:35, so he's back up to speed. He was one of the top qualifiers in the qualifying sessions yesterday. But as you heard Jamie say, he got turned around in race number 1 and wasn't very happy about it either. So Dunn again, sideways, starting to use up all of these tyres. Now with production GT, all of these cars run on a dot-rated performance tyre, so they are a treaded tyre. That's the major difference between them and the sports GTs, obviously, which are pretty much run what you brung, with the big Trans Ams and everything that we're going to see throughout the weekend here. Look at the way he's just hunting down Gary Duncan here. Yeah, Gary Duncan's got good pace, though. It's one of the older Mitsubishis. And I guess he's got that 4-wheel drive advantage. Although with the 4-wheel drive advantage,
The other side of the coin is that the cars are slightly heavier with all that machinery in the front end of them.
Big look in the mirror for Gary Duncan. That's great to see with the open face helmet, but Dunn's easily going to pick him up under brakes, and that's the advantage of that little car being so light. The Evos, I don't know, even if they're a lightweight version, they're probably still going to be around that sort of 1,300 kilo mark, I would have thought. They might be running a little bit lighter than that in Kumo Tyres Sports Saloon guys. Well, Duncan's going to come back at him in a straight line.
No, he's not.
Concedes, but he's right up underneath the rear wing of Chris Dunn, who's just done a 1:32.607.
Total Automotive doing the work on this car, and what a lot of work they've done on it. Lots of development, but he tells me there's lots of development still to come.
So Chris Dunn's going to make it 2 for 2 from the weekend in Production GT here at Powerball Tools Raceway at Ruapuna Park in Christchurch. Gary Duncan will hold on to second. Matt Dunn makes that last lap pass and gets third ahead of Scott Ballingall. Matt Edgar next across the line. Another dominant victory for Chris Dunn in Production GT ahead of Gary Duncan. Matt Dunn makes it a done 1 and 3 with Scott Ballingall in 4th ahead of Matt Edgar. Gareth McKenzie, Logan Childs, the first of the championship regulars in 7th ahead of Stan Moore, Jeff Gray and Kevin Varney.